So Patrick, for you, did you ever imagine you'd be a farmer?
I think it was always in the back of my mind, kind of like I wanted to do something outdoors. I really valued healthy food, and I don't think I knew how to make that happen though, because like a lot of people, I only thought that I didn't know about small scale agriculture. I knew about large scale agriculture where you have multiple generations of family that build something, and it's very there's a lot that goes into it, and I didn't realize that you could do it on a small scale that's manageable for a couple people. And that's where Caden came into my story, is he kind of gave me that option. And as he started kind of putting ideas in my head about what the possibilities were, I started to piece together how that it would actually be possible to make a living. And that's kind of the main thing, because you don't want to do something and then not think you have a future in it. You want to have some hope
Right.
to work towards something. If you're working hard, you want it to pay off. So he kind of allowed me to see that it is possible and that we could do it, um, with what we had available to us. So
And what about you, Caden? Did you?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I think I just had to figure it out. Like that was what I needed to do, but I just had to figure out that that's the route I needed to take. And yeah, kind of like he was saying. Like I always loved like being out in the country. We had I had a grandpa that lived out there, and he hunted and fished, and he had some farm animals, and I loved that. But I just didn't think that was a possibility. Like to kind of do that for a living,
Yeah.
right? Um, but yeah, like he said, I thought, you had to have a bunch of land and you had to be born into it, right? And I wasn't really big on just growing corn or soybeans. I thought that was cool. I just like in high school, I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do, and just started researching small scale agriculture. Really got into like market gardening, and kind of took off from there. I knew I wanted to do other things, but I knew that market gardening was going to be the entryway.
So the cable farm was your idea.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of my vision. I knew I wanted to farm. I didn't know how long it was going to take, what it would look like, but
What were those conversations like with your family and your father at that time?
right. So he was, he had a full-time job. He was in the automotive industry, right? And he didn't really have the time to help me, but he helped me out a little bit, financially, with the business, and yeah, I mean they were all for it. They had that land, the little bit of land that they allowed me to use, and he didn't really understand like the vision, because he didn't he didn't do the research I was doing, and but kind of over time just kind of like proving to him like you can actually make a living farming.
Yeah.
And that's a foreign concept to most people around here. They think if you want to farm, you got to be have a bunch of land, and there's no way you can grow vegetables and make a living doing that. So yeah, it's just kind of over time that. But yeah, my parents were very supportive of everything I was doing.
What year did you start?
So I think we started the spring of 22. Um,
So you're 18.
I was 17, so it was like
17.
my senior year in high school,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, we started then. I was probably I knew I wanted to do it probably like a year or two before that. I just like I was playing baseball, and like I didn't have the time really to research it and think about it. But yeah, but that's when I got into it. I was just selling any vegetables that we could grow just to people at my grandma's church, and that's how it started. And
Very cool. So
yeah.
you would go to school and then, or would you do anything before school, or what was that process like then if you're starting as a senior?
Right. Yeah, so it was in the spring, so that was like my last semester, right? And so, yeah, I didn't have many classes,
Probably
right?
had some senioritis to where you're like, I'm done, and
Yeah, yeah, I was definitely done. Um, but yeah, I just tried to start small because that's what I heard, and I had like a little, I don't know, it's probably 10 by 20, a little area garden. Um, and I quickly outgrew that. I realized that if I want to do this for like a living, I need to start on some scale. So I started making those beds that we saw earlier, that same size, and we just gradually built them as we could, and just a lot of learning curves there, and yeah, it was quite the learning process.
And I'm curious then for just how you two, whenever you're starting out too, because you two are such close friends. Did you go to the same school too, high school?
we went to middle school together, and then we kind of parted ways for a couple of years there as we were in high school, and we actually kind of rekindled our friendship probably 3 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't forever, so it was probably about 3 years ago. We started hanging out, working out together, doing stuff that we like to do, play guitar, and we kind of rekindled that. and brought back what we had in middle school. When we used to have a great time in class together, and yeah, we work great together, and we're good at bouncing ideas off each other and complimenting each other's strengths and weaknesses. So it's been great to work together.
Because I was curious then, just how did that just come together essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about like when we actually like you decided that you wanted to do it, but I guess
Yeah, I mean, I
I'll
think
let you
it's
go.
cool. So it was last year.
Well, I guess I should say that, like I had been doing this, since 2022. And so I had, already learned a bunch and, we were selling at farmers markets and I would just talk to him about it and just like, I would come here and I'd be like, dude, we got to do something with this land, right?
Yeah.
And, and he was like, yeah, okay, right. And eventually I just started talking to him about like the money aspect of it. Like we can make a living. Like that's possible. And then I guess I'll let you
Yeah,
explain.
I mean, I was in the same boat as most people. I was like, I didn't quite understand what he was doing yet during those 2 years while he started. I didn't even understand it then. And, over time, he had to convince me, and I had to learn that, oh, this is real. You're making money, you're able to live, and we could expand this. And it makes sense to do that. And so, like you said, that time of dropping little tidbits in my ear was like a year, and I would just be like, "Yeah, I go do some research, think about it," and I'd be like, "Ah, "This doesn't make sense, man." And then, he'd tell me again, and I'd go back, and eventually, we really started talking about the chickens a lot, the pasture raised chickens, and I really got deep into the research on those, and I was like, "Okay, we can do this, and we have the exact right setup to do this," and it came together one night. We had a campfire. We like to have campfires and play guitar. We did last night actually. We cooked some jalapeno poppers.
Heck
But
yeah.
um, it was late last year. We had a campfire, sitting there playing guitar, talking, and we decided to go visit Polyface. And we were like, we need to see this. We need to see or go where this is happening. Even though it was in the colder months, so they didn't have chickens out in pasture. We just wanted to be in the presence of somebody who was doing it. And so we did. The next week, we went up to Polyface, and we walked around. We had a great time. And what happened from then, I guess, we just started planning from there.
Yeah.
And we had conversations with his dad and my grandparents and set everything up, got everything straightened out, and started building our tractors early this year.
Right.
That's so cool.
So,
And then kind of going back to, because I want to talk on just the economics of the production side too. I'm just curious, how did you guys go? Well, one, yeah, how did you go about selling your produce? And two, I guess this is all just kind of combined. Just how do you go about the selling and marketing of it all, but then also the actual like pricing